Hello dear students, welcome you all to the next lecture of the JCE Connect series of online lectures. We are studying the subject Restoration and Rehabilitation of Structures with the subject code 18CCT321, and in today's lecture we will be starting with the first module. So let us start by discussing some definitions. So firstly, we will be discussing the definition of defects. What is a defect? These are the flaws that are introduced through poor design, poor workmanship before a structure begins its design life, or through inadequate operation and maintenance during its service life. So as all of you all know, the poor workmanship will be a problem, and the problem which are resulting in the structure either before the working life means during the construction stage itself or during its service life, we call them as defects. So defects becomes an overall definition which can cover all the defects or different types of the damages which are caused to the structure under various separate definitions. So defect is an overall thing which can happen in the structure mainly because of negligence or poor maintenance, etc. Then repair. The process of reconstruction and renewal of the existing building either in whole or in part is termed as repair. So repair is a process where we try to overcome these defects. So it's a process where we go for reconstruction or say renewal of an existing building either by part or by whole. For example, if there are cracks in a wall, we try to repair those cracks. If the ceiling has a cracks, we try to repair those cracks. So such various things come under the head repair. Then we will discuss what is renovation. It is a process of substantial repair or alteration that extends a building's useful life. So renovation in a sense is a process which will alter or substantially repair various components such that its life will get increased. Remodeling. Essentially, remodeling is also same as renovation, which is applied to residential structures. Then comes the important definition of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is an upgrade required to meet the present needs, being sensitive to building features and symptomatic matching of the original construction or the process, or repairing or modifying a structure to a desired useful condition. So rehabilitation in short is a process where we get the things back on track. We work on an existing structure which has some defects or which is not fulfilling the serviceability requirements, make some necessary alterations or changes, introduce some new members, remove the old members. The various things which we do comes under the term rehabilitation. Then restoration. Restoration is a process of re-establishing the materials, forms, appearance of a structure. So restoration is getting back the materials to their original form or near to their original form. So for example, this restoration work in the recent time was undertaken for Taj Mahal. Okay, we don't call it rehabilitation, it is restoration, because their beauty, aesthetics, looks, etc. are more valuable for that structure. So it's a process where we are trying to re-establish its looks. So what happens is we cannot achieve the exact 100% matching looks after restoration, but still an attempt is made in the case of historical monuments to get the looks which are nearly matching the original looks. That process we term it as restoration. Renovation then. This word we have most commonly used because houses are renovated quite frequently in these days. It's a process of substantial repair or alteration that extends a building's useful life. Then in case of renovation, the client's requirements are also given a weightage. Many times what happens is there is an extension of the building for fulfilling the space requirement. Secondly, renovation is done with respect to aesthetics. So renovation is a process where we are again altering the interiors, especially of the structure, that is the inner walls and all. Here generally we don't touch the structural components. Then strengthening, the process of increasing the load carrying capacity of the components. I think one part is repeated here, please excuse me. Process of increasing the load resisting capacity of the structure, we call it as strengthening. Retrofitting, it is a very important process, or the things retrofitting, we have various field openings in the careers for retrofitting. The process of strengthening of the structures along with the structural system if required, so as to compel all the relevant codal provisions in force during that period. So retrofitting is like redesigning the existing structure to meet the purpose. Demolition, it is a process of pulling down the structure not deemed fit for service. So these are the few basic definitions which we should know when we start this subject. Then need for restoration and rehabilitation. Now what has happened is, initially the structures used to be of stone masonry. They were very strong and existed for many years. Still in every city we find such structures which we call as British era structures. Further, when concrete revolution started, there were various methods introduced in the design of RCC structures, such as the limit state method, working stress method, ultimate load method, etc. Then generally a shelf life of 100 years is fixed for RCC structures. So what has happened is that because of poor workmanship or lack of design, etc., we see that once the structure crosses an age of say 50 years or 60 years, we find or we start getting some structural instabilities, or say the fitness of the structure is a question. So in such cases the restoration and rehabilitation become very important. In case of steel structures also, we have the difficulties because of corrosion or various other things which are happening around atmospherically, that the structure might lose its ability to carry the loads. So restoration and rehabilitations, as we discuss in the definitions, are the process which will add on to the life of the structure, which will make the structure more efficient and perform in a better way. And the need for restoration and rehabilitation will go on increasing in the next 10 to 20 years, because maximum structures which were constructed during the first concrete revolution which happened in our country after independence are aging. Already they have crossed the mark of 65-70 years, and in further 4 to 5 years there is a high probability that the structures will require restoration and rehabilitation. Then let us discuss some differences between defects, distress and deterioration. So defects are the flaws, as we discussed. Flaws those creep into the structure because of design mistakes or poor workmanship, fabrication, construction. So the flaw that has a potential to lead to failure becomes a defect. So if we are able to identify a defect, we can reduce a lot many number of problems, because defect further leads to or further becomes a potential cause for a failure. Distress, it is the collective term for physical manifestation of problems such as crack, spalls, pop-outs, staining, etc. Distress can be thought of as symptoms indicating that the defects are present. So how you identify that the building has defects? It is the distress. Distress is nothing but the extra stress, okay, which results in various different things, and the most basic thing happening in maximum of the structures is the cracking of the structure. Then deterioration, it is a gradual loss of material properties due to different factors. Deterioration, unlike defect, may not surface at the beginning of the service life, but in rather time dependent. However, Some form of deterioration may develop early in the service life of the structure. So deterioration is something which is happening gradually. Okay, the material gets deteriorated, so the ability of the structural element to hold the load becomes low and low. So how to go ahead with the roadmap of repair? So the objective of any repair or rehabilitation is to enhance the performance. So many times what we have seen is people start with the repair of their structures and they don't have a clear idea about what all things they will have to face. Many times repair or renovation, these things, the cost goes way beyond the budget, nearly twice of the budget the cost goes. So in such cases, what is important is to have a proper roadmap of the repair of the structures. So here these are the few steps which can help us to follow the required roadmap. First is condition evaluation, second is determination of the cause of deterioration, third is selection of a repair method and materials, fourth is preparing of drawings and specification, next is bid and negotiation process, next is appropriate quantity of quality control measures, maintenance after completion of the repair work. So these are the things which have to be taken care of once we start with an repair or rehabilitation program. Initially, and proper evaluation or proper survey of the structures has to be carried out by an expert, and all the areas wherein the repair is required have to be noted down. Then the causes of this deterioration also has to be recognized, because the most important we can get in solution by directly hitting or killing the cause. Because what happens is, without identifying the cause, if we go ahead with the repair or rehabilitation, it might happen that in near future the same cause can again come up, which might be the reason for refailure of the repaired structure. So identifying of the cause of the cause of defect or deterioration is very important. It is basically with reference to the leakage in the slabs. Okay, the pore or the line through which the water leaks inside the slab has to be properly identified, so that that crack can be easily repaired. Then further, there are different methods of repair available. The method of repairs have to be selected very much wisely, else the repair work will be uneconomical. Further, the drawings or the specifications required to be executed during the repair has to be framed very much properly. Then next is preparation of drawings. Your drawing specifications have to be followed. Now this is the side where we are a bit weak, as we have never developed the drawings which are required for restoration and rehabilitation. So architects work on renovation. Similarly, you all have to get it executed. So you all should be ready. So reading the drawings is very important parameter which has to be incorporated by you all. Then further again estimation part comes, where you have to bid and negotiate, then the execution process and the maintenance after the completion of repair works. So all these things need to be done in a proper and a systematic way. Next, problems to be addressed. The problems which you can come across is aging of the structures, expected life and performance, deterioration of concrete, causes and effects, durability considerations, distress diagnostics and performance monitoring by non-destructive testing methods, damage assessment and evaluation model, structural condition assessment, analysis and design of repair and suitability of repair techniques, materials for protection, repair and rehabilitation, repair techniques, shortening, netting, etc., refurbishment and strengthening techniques, seismic retrofitting, bridge rehabilitation. So the problems which we arise, we should know them. We should have a study of the common problems which are arising a lot, so that we can easily repair those elements and we won't waste much time on that. So this was about the introduction to the syllabus in the first video, and then in the next video we have discussed about the roadmap for repair. So in the further videos also we will be discussing various things which are useful in restoration and rehabilitation. Thank you very much. See you all in the next lecture.